Welcome to Rauta's monthly stream. It's July 2024. I hope I inserted the information correctly on the topic, the name of the video, and all that stuff. Probably should fix the lighting a little bit. This is gonna look better without the light on the background blinding you people out there. Pardon for me doing a little bit this and that, because what I have here is indeed a mystery box which I promised to unbox during this particular stream today, because I got something interesting. I'm assuming it's going to be interesting box, but you never know for sure until you obviously unbox it, open the box and all that stuff. And I decided to do live here on the stream so people get to witness the contents, much like me here during the stream. Let's wait for a few minutes though, because there's nobody online. Basically, stream just started and all. And the other topic, which I also wrote in the description of this particular stream, is that let's talk about a little bit Finnish sauna culture. While this might sound not particularly interesting to a lot of you, there's a couple of reasons for that, and they both stem from the same video, the White Death interview, which took place in a bathtub. And it's actually took place in one of the Finnish underground activities place. I mean, I'm not going to mention the person's name out loud here, obviously, private house and all. But the funny thing is, if people would have been able to see the surroundings of where this White Death interview took place, you might have noticed some known names beyond just White Death band and all. So this sauna culture thing, what I mentioned here, is pretty interesting, because especially some Americans, not so much people from other parts of the world, reactedly, almost like shockingly, violently, like what was going on, like how do you put two naked people in the same bathtub, and like, how is that possible? That must be gay and all that stuff. So Americans were worried about nudity, or us guys, me and the White Dead guy, being gay, because two guys cannot be naked in a bathtub without being gay, And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you Americans? Seems there is some kind of, I don't know what the hell is happening. Okay, let's see if there's something going on in the background. Give me a second. I'll continue with the explanation here. There's something that is like causing a little bit lag here. What the hell? Okay, now it probably seems okay. Anyway, I'll continue it in a bit. There's just something. Okay, there's this some kind of a background activity. Just because I recently just booted the computer, I was a little bit late to the stream, and of course couldn't start it just right away as I got here. And now it seems like, because all background programs are starting at something caused lag here. And so anyway, I'll continue it a bit and say thank you people coming to the stream: Leif, Alex, Mothibi, Natred, Northbound, whoever you are. So welcome to the stream. Anyway, I need some fan boosting some fresh air here, because it's really, really hot here. So anyway, welcome to the stream, and I'm gonna quickly answer the questions you have tagged me. Yes, Natred, you just pretty much inspired me for the topic of this particular stream about the bathtub and sauna culture thing. Like I promised on Rauta's Discord, we're going to talk about that. And Leif, no, I didn't get the D-side interview last year because nobody ever replied to my inquiries. and so it didn't happen last year in Bergen. They're playing in August here in Finland, and that is assuming they're going to cancel the whole thing, and we're going to talk about that later. I'm still in the middle of like setting up interviews for Beyond the Gates Bergen, which is like 3 weeks away, roughly. Let me say, yeah, 2.5 weeks. Around these days should be the 3 weeks from now on. That it should be the fourth and final day of Beyond the Gates Festival. So yeah, days I played there last year, and this year they're gonna play in Helsinki, where I will be a week later after Beyond the Gates. So in 4 weeks. All right. Yes, Nadred, please do upload some virus. Well, it's not true that we have a sauna in every goddamn building, but most houses do have saunas and all that stuff. Anyway, so talking about the sauna culture thing, I'm gonna do the unboxing in a bit, but the sauna culture thing is the funny thing is that when White Dead interview took place in bathtub, us guys being naked and all, some people were really shocked. And by when I say some people, I'm saying some Americans. Doesn't mean that every American was shocked, but I didn't really see other people beyond Americans being shocked by seeing two guys in a bathtub being naked. But the funny thing is, it would be fucking awkward if we went to a private bathtub. Now, mind you, this is somebody's house, someone we both know, me and the White Death guy. So it would be rather awkward if we actually brought some, swimming panties and went to the bathtub, because the sauna culture thing in Finland is you don't wear, swimming pants, swimming suits whatsoever when you go to sauna, because how we Finns feel about it, when you put some, swimming suits on, that's gonna be unhygiene thing. It's gonna be dirtier if you actually bring your clothes there versus going naked, and that's why we do bathtubs or saunas naked instead of clothing. If you understand this, you are you're pretty good. So I'm okay. Now I get the other way. It's not so bright. See already a little better. I had this lights dimmed down because I was watching a movie here last night. So anyway, we Finns, when we go to sauna or bathtubs, unless it's like a public place, you do it without your pants. Like even in swimming halls, those city-owned places. Like there is men's sauna, or women's sauna. Means that if you go into those places, it's not like you're gonna look at the other gender's genitalia or whatever, because sauna is not, like a sexual place at all. Everybody in Finland know that, but sometimes it feels like certain other countries are really puzzled, like, how can you go to a place like that, like a hot stream room, and not look other people's genitalia, like, wow, man, that dick is small, big, whatever, or tits or whatever. We Finns don't feel it's a place loaded with sexuality. It's place for bathing. It's getting cleansed. It's like it's time to sweat the shit out, basically. So what do you do in sauna? You just go there, maybe cross your arms, sweat the shit out, talk this and that. Now, recently I was in a spa, in a men's sauna. I knew nobody in the whole room, obviously, and it took like a minute, and people started opening up without beers, without any kind of alcohol, and we started just talking random things. There were actually two guys who started talking about biking. They were like doing a big biking tour around southwestern part of Finland. There's this kind of a ring route, if you will. It goes through certain smaller places, towns, islands, what have you. So they started talking about that. Then a third guy joined the conversation, and even I said something, even though I don't really do biking much these days. So my point here is, sauna is a place where you can just kind of connect with other people without the booze, and you don't give a shit if people are naked. You just start talking. Doesn't matter what age you are, what kind of a ranking you are. Are you rich? Are you poor? Are you young or old? Do you look wrinkly, or are you I don't know, buff. Doesn't matter. People are like, you don't bring your Porsche keys there. You don't bring any of your belongings there. I mean, except maybe a wedding ring, whatever, tattoos. But it's a place where people are like, you're stripped all your belongings or ranks or whatever. So you're that's just there to bathe and shit. So nudity, that you're kind of like going back to how you were born, and that's pretty much how sauna culture is. And hot tubs or jacuzzis are like extension to that. So what do you do in the sauna basically is also taken bathtubs, and it can be men, women, whatever, just mixed. Nobody gives a damn. Of course, there might be every now and then some pervert who is like, okay, some women are coming into the same bathtub or sauna with me. I'm gonna stare the, you know. But let's be honest about it. Those are the kind of a perverts who are gonna be perverts no matter where you go, even if with people wearing shirts and skirts and pants and whatever. So yeah, for us Finns, things like skinny dipping, going for a swim totally nude, is just as normal as going to sauna or bathtub naked. So for us, it doesn't mean a thing if you're like whatever you are. But it seems certain people who are not used so much to nudity are like shocked that people can actually do that, and without being gay. I find it so weird, to be honest, that the first thing something comes into the mind of certain kind of American people is that they are thinking gay. Like, is being gay that important to American people that you go into a stream room like, anybody gay here? Can I come? Like, I not come, but come in, or will you just like stare at my butts and dicks because is somebody gonna be gay? Like, are Americans so insecure, or for that matter, interested if somebody's gay? Now, personally, I don't give a fuck if you're gay or straight or something else, but I just find it funny that Americans are like worried about, are you gay? Anyway, if you're worried so much about somebody being gay or naked or whatever, don't come to Finland and try sauna. Other than that, I think sauna is the best thing ever Finland has to offer, because sauna is the place where you just sweat the shit out and you talk to random people, strangers, and who knows, you might even make friends. A couple of years ago, we were at Steelfest, nearby building, and there was this, rented house, rented by Steelfest visitors. And I didn't know more than a couple. They were like guy and a girl from Denmark. And the rest of the people, we had no idea. I think there were like Finns, German people, Danish people, and all that stuff. So we went there, and they invited us to the sauna as well. And I started to talk to these friends of a friend, also a Danish guy, full of tattoos. He had Burzum tattoo. He had, I think, Goat Moon tattoo, and he had all kind of crazy tattoos. Some were cooler, some were goofy, some were funny. And we started talking about tattoos and being in a sauna. So there was no ice to be broken, because when you enter sauna, you're just like, all topics open for discussion. You can talk about cars, you can talk about women, you can talk about politics, religion, booze, the bands that are going to play at the festival, and it's not seen as weird. So yeah, that's a longer explanation of Finnish sauna culture. Now I'm gonna answer some of your questions. I'm gonna focus mostly on the ones that I'm tagged. So if I'm gonna miss something, you can just tag me and ask again. All right. Hello, Gingerbread Rocks. Nice to have you here. I still haven't waited your package, by the way. I will do that later on. What else? Yeah, Alex, glad that you tried Numerok sauna. That's the way to go. Yes, sauna really smells like a warm wood when you're heating it up. That's true. Leif, no word about Dismember's latest album. No idea. Okay, what are you asking? I'm just reading the comments in case you're wondering. Naturally, yeah, I'm really saying that sauna is definitely important cultural form where everybody's kind of level open and honest. That's true. That's true. I mean, I think some of the most sane talks you could have in Finland happens in sauna, not like a dining table or whatever. So that's definitely a forum. That's what I try to explain people on Discord. That this bathing culture, it goes way back into the fucking Roman age where people are like just like talking politics and making big decisions while bathing. So there is something really, really honest and true. When you don't have clothes, you're not really, that's like anti posing. You don't have any cool shirts or trinkets or jewelry or fucking fancy car keys to show off people. You are just like you. So even if you are CEO of, say, Microsoft and you go to sauna, you're just a naked person right there. Nobody gives a damn what kind of Armani suit you are wearing or what kind of shoes you have or whatever. So yeah. Indeed, it's an honest forum for conversation. That's what sauna thing is all about. Cecilia Taylor, it might feel odd conversation for you 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but mind you, it's almost half past 11 p.m. here. And also, sauna is a cultural thing for Finnish people, so we can talk about it any day, anytime. So it doesn't really matter. Seventy is asking what is my thought on Abysmal Lord. I have no thoughts on Abysmal Lord. Hello, Rob. Welcome to the stream. And Alex is very correct. There's a lot of what to read about Finnish sauna culture. You don't have to watch my stream about to learn about sauna culture and all. Yes, Cecilia Taylor, you say that Europeans are weird, but you realize that Americans were born out of European culture. So there's that. I would say a lot of weird things in America, from our point of view, is because you kind of get carried away with so much that biblical stuff coming from British and other countries. I mean, let's be honest about it. America was built and raised by Bible loving people, even if you are right there are atheists or whatever. And mind you, sauna culture is very, very Nordic thing. I mean, you don't really have it outside Nordic countries, and it's not even that common in other places in the Nordic countries except for Finland. So shouldn't generalize too much. Yes, John Jared Rocks, that's nice. That good work. Totally naked. I mean, because why not? Rob Helfer, yeah, this orderly shirt just came to me with the Aldaron and orderly review CDs, and I just decided to wear it today for the first time. I guess I have too many shirts. I just keep cool shirts to myself, and the rest I use as a gym shirts. Yeah, Netrid, like I explained about the nudity in sauna is that clothes are considered dirty when you go to bathing. Like, I mean, you don't take a shower with your clothes on. So why would you bathe clothes on? That's the point here. You want to get clean, not wear your dirty clothes on. So there's that. Thank you so much for donation, Brian. Truly respected so much. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Um, I cannot promise you the possibility of doing interview in sauna. First of all, there's a lot of steam, so the lens might get all blurry. And of course, sauna is more like a little bit private place. Yeah. The genitals could be blurred, so YouTube doesn't block it. But just saying. But theoretically, without the steam and all, it could be done. But I cannot promise. It's really, really hard to get the artists beyond the obvious, the typical thing, the typical setting that is some kind of a press room or backstage area, like in at Steelfest. We don't really have other possibility normally than just the backstage area, so it's really, really hard to do it. This white death thing just was basically suggested by the band member himself, because our mutual friend had this house where this bathtub took place, so we just went there and did it, because why the fuck not. Thank you, SK, for your donation and help for the cause. This is helping Rauta to travel once again, so thank you so much for your donation. You're truly a big helper of the channel, so thank you so much. Now quickly answering your questions before we do the unboxing part, because that's actually something that I should do right away, but I want to just answer your questions and all that stuff. Philip, there are different temperatures for saunas. You don't have to go full hot and all. And yeah, this knife was a gift to me when I was a best man to my really good old friends. When he got married, later on got divorced, but this I got around 2005. So this is a traditional knife from the area where this woman, this wife, was coming from, and I think it was kind of a traditional gift to give the best man and hand crafted. You can actually, this is a little bit dirty, as you can see, some glue has gotten there. This is actually pretty sharp, so I shouldn't do it. But it actually says something like, I think my name here and the date, something like that. I cannot read it because it's too dark and it's too dirty. I should totally get it cleaned. This glue here, whatever, is probably because I've been opening too many boxes with it, and the glue kind of stuck here. I use it very rarely, but this is still sharp, so don't do this with kind of a knife. But that's the reason why I have this beautiful crafted knife, and I still have it here on my around my office table. Anyway, what else? Ask sending the new album on the way approximately next week. Nice to hear. I'm not interested in tape. Thank you so much. So CD or vinyl or both, whatever. Thank you so much. And 11 is asking if it's true that Finland is the happiest country in the world. Well, according to statistics, Finland has been the happiest nation for many years a row. And I guess this is because of we got clean nature, we don't have low level of corruption, we got good healthcare, good library system, a lot of good things in general that we get to do. We have quite fair politics. We can trust our cops, police. So yeah, that's why Finland is happy place. And now you will get some ads in a few seconds. They will probably take a few seconds. So I will grab this box and we will do this mystery unboxing before I answer your questions. Hopefully, the ads are already done. I have my knife here and I have my mystery box here, which you might have seen. I roughly know what's going to be inside, but I don't know more than that. So it's indeed mystery boxing. And this is indeed one of those commercial collaboration things. So in case I didn't mention it before, this box is gotten because I'm going to unbox it, use the ingredients here on the video, on the streams. Don't do it this way, by the way, or you end up stabbing yourself in the abdominal area or your thighs. Okay, gonna do it a little bit knife here. Also, you should do it this way, but I'm quite well versed with the bladed equipment. Okay, the box is now open. What can we see? Can you guess what's inside? You probably all have it figured out. So yes, it's beer. Different kind of beer. I recently contacted a cool brewery, rather new one in Finland, called Masis, and they are more or less metal focused. I actually read about them in a Finnish metal magazine. I read the interviews, and they were like they're interested in metal, so at least partially done by metalheads. And I was like, okay, this is a Rauta channel. You want to do some kind of a collaboration with me because this is metal channel, and I fucking listen to metal all day, and I could give you some visibility for your beers if you just help the brother out, giving me some beers. So I said I'm gonna drink your beers in my streams, and this is why I need the beers. So they decided to give me a box, and as you can see, quite a few ones. Let's go quickly through, and I'm gonna obviously have at least one beer during the stream. But first, I'll do the unboxing. So first one here is Masis. Masis can be said like depression, like depre, but I don't think they are meaning so much with that. So first we have here beer metal pills 5.0, so 5% alcohol. And then we have Masis Breweries Misty Falls. This is New England IPA 6.5, one of the style which I really really like. Then this is Diablo, the Finnish metal band beer. As you can see, they are doing collaboration. This is pastry stout, definitely right up my alley. Now, mind you, I have never tasted their beers before. Like I said, they're relatively new, so I don't know what to expect. But I love their style. This is also very new. Before the Dawn, another Finnish metal band, which you might already know. American Pale Ale, 4:20 p.m. People who are well versed in numbers do know what 420 means. I'm not going to explain it. If you don't know, you got to Google it up. Then there is a little bit stronger New England Pale Ale, NAPA, Sundown Haze, 7.3. I'm already really, really liking their visual style because I'm the kind of a geek, beer geek, if you will, who loves when beers that, the cans and bottles look nice and have some kind of a cool style. Black Raven, Black IPA. I really love black IPAs. They are not too common, unfortunately. I mean, I do love IPAs, and black IPAs probably even more. This is very cool looking. American Pale Ale, Skyline Hopper, some American feeling with the skyscrapers and all. So by now we have 7 beers out, a few more to be shown. Amazing Heights barley wine. As you can see, 11%. Now, barley wines are always strong, hence the name wine. Barley wine, not normal wine made of grapes. Kaunis Kuolematon, yet another Finnish metal band collaboration. Interesting. And what the hell? This font is quite readable. Quite unreadable. 4.7, which means it's legal to get it in Finland, even by the old law standards. This is pretty cool. Pedal to the metal. This is something that I really need to taste as soon as possible. Double IPA. Have already mentioned. I think I will start with this one. Mind you, these are not exactly refrigerated because they were just out there in the Finnish summer night. So they are not as cool as they're supposed to be. But luckily, I just happen to like beers in rather room temperature like things. Some might say it's heresy, but I don't care if I like it. West Coast Road Trip India Pale Ale looks right up my alley. And 3 more. Black as my current Berliner Weisse, meaning this is some kind of a sour beer. That is definitely one of my all-time favorite beer types. In case you're wondering, because I'm mentioning so many favorite types, it's like I love different pale ale variants, like India Pale Ales, American Pale Ales in general, and also, of course, double IPAs, and also those different kind of sour beers and stouts and what have you. Then there is sour, actually, Kamala. This is, I think, done in with the Kamala Luonto, Terrible Nature comic book strips. They're actually pretty funny comic books. So these are really, really keen to do collaboration, and that's the end of it. The end of the box. So pretty wild selection, and Kamala Lager. So we have lager beer, and these really need to be chilled down before I drink. And then we have this Kamala Sour. Like I said, none of them are refrigerated, so I probably need a glass now. And now ouch, I'm gonna punch myself with the knife. Now I'm gonna do horrible, horrible heresy because I figured out I forgot something for the stream, and that's a beer glass. I'm not gonna fetch one because, to be honest, it's in the different building and it would just fucking look goofy. So let's take the whiskey glass. I do have a plastic glass here, but first of all, because it's printed, you couldn't see shit. And I think a real glass, which I have used for other malt drinks, will be used for this one. And like I said, I'll start with something very metal. And IPAs are the kind of a beer which I happen to like when they're actually a little bit warmer. Sometimes I voluntarily drink IPAs or other IPA variants when they're room temperature because it brings more taste. So let's open. Stop here, U.S. officers, pedal to the metal. And then I will keep talking about Finnish sauna culture, and then I will answer also your question. Now, after unboxing, we need uncapping, and let's see how this goes. Because it's so warm, as you can see, it's gonna do a little bit foam. And like I said, I know this is heresy to drink beer from whiskey glass. But you know, guys, sometimes metalheads cannot really get to be picky. My point here is, imagine you're at a festival and you're just like, give me some kind of a glass, some kind of a, I don't know, piece of plastic or glass. I'm gonna put my drinks, or else you're gonna just do this one. I could, really do it like this, which I'm gonna do. This is good, really, really good. But I'm just, putting it in the glass so you get to see what I'm having here. So as you can see, this is pretty golden, kind of amber-like. So, I mean, this reality versus what you see on the camera is a little bit also different in terms of color. So this is quite clear, quite filtered, I guess. Really golden, brownish, yellowish, and really tasty. Now you get to hear the Samuel L. Jackson kind of that. Motherfucker. All right. So now I have good beer, and that's why I wanted to open this mystery box in the middle of the stream, not in the end, because then I would have no fucking beers. And that was the deal with this Masis brewery, which might not be available outside Finland, is that the idea was to have their beers during the stream. So they get the visibility, and now I hopefully got you interested in some of these beers while I am actually drinking them and telling how good they are and how metallic they are. So yes, really, really good. All right, back to reading the backlog with questions and all. So bear with me. If your questions were done 15 minutes ago, too bad you had to wait. But like I said, I wanted to do this mystery unboxing in the beginning, but still some questions had to be answered right away. So after I answered 11's question about Finland being the happiest country, we are happy because we have good beer and sauna and good bands. What else? So Leif is asking, new Gorgoroth album on the way. Seems Inferno is packing it. Is Gorgoroth doing a new album? To be honest, no information whatsoever has gotten to me. But then again, bands do the right call and not really leak any kind of information until they are like okay it to be leaked. Meaning, they don't put the information out, especially the size of bands like Gorgoroth, which are signed to somewhat bigger labels. Because people start speculating and talking, and sometimes the schedule is out of your hand when it comes to releasing an album. Like, for example, 1349 recently got informed that they will be one of the headlining acts at next Inferno 2025 festival. And soon after that, the digital promo appeared in the mail, like they're putting a new album out this fall. So I'm talking about this kind of a press control, PR activity. So I guess Gorgoroth will announce their new album when it's actually ready and all. Rob Hellfire was commenting that America has been around only for 250 years, a new country, and say that's why they're not used to old ways. That is very true. I mean, you have to, when we're talking about these bathing things and pagan traditions, like indeed bathing, these go back thousands of years. America is a new country, a melting pot of various cultures. Of course, you have English traditions, you have French, you have German, you have Dutch, you have Spanish, Italian, what have you, and Portuguese, and these are all messed up. Then you bring in some Japanese, some Hispanic people, um, indigenous people from of America, and you guys start figuring it out which kind of elements or pieces of the puzzle you want to put in and which are going to dominate. And as you know, when English people, for instance, or say Spanish or all that stuff, very, very Christian nations. Some were Catholic, more hardcore with their views when it comes to nudity, procreation, or preventing that. And some were more liberal. But nonetheless, we can say America was founded by pretty Christian people and maybe more liberal because they wanted to go for the new world and say, fuck you, old country, fuck all your traditions and shit. Yet they still get preaching about God and shit. So obviously, whatever you had to come back with the culture from the old country to the new place, I mean, it's like a luggage. It comes with you. So that's, of course, what has affected America. And various other things ever since has affected things like Hollywood and music industry and whatever. So of course, it's still funny that in American movies you can see a lot of people getting killed and nobody bats an eye. But when you see nudity, not to mention sex scene without bras on, I always laugh at American movie sex scene when, couple is having sex and, it's all steamy and wonderful. And the woman is wearing bra. That never happens in real life. Well, happened to me once during hundreds and hundreds of time having intercourse and whatnot. So when people have sex with their bra on and half, clothed, I feel like that's fucking crazy. So we're talking about pretty conservative values. Sometimes it feels like nudity is more dangerous in America than guns. But what do I know? I'm not American, so I don't want to put them down. I don't want to slander them. It's just funny from Finnish perspective, to see it like that. Anyhow, John Sher Rock's asking me, have I heard the new Hell Butcher album? I heard it a couple of months ago, actually before Steelfest, where they played. And I think it's a pretty good continuation, a successor to Niflheim. In case people don't know, Hell Butcher is made of one half of pre-Niflheim setup. So kind of the same thing. But in my opinion, as far as I can remember, Niflheim was a little bit more black trash. This is more like, I don't know, a little bit more heavy metal in that sense. Still a good successor to Niflheim, but I think maybe a little bit more lightweight, if you can call it that. And they were a solid band live. They were also one of the bands I wanted to interview, but I got my schedule full, so it didn't happen this time. Yes, indeed. Swedish language has their own word, bastu, for sauna, which I think is cool. All right, let's go on with the comments. Mart Mele is asking, what are the chances of having Corvus of Gorgondrus for interview? Not likely. We know one another, and we actually have played with Gorgondrus a few times last week and also. And while Corvus is a nice guy, I don't think he wants to do interviews, video interviews anyway. So not likely to happen, even though we are friends and all. So what else? Oh, and once again, thank Brian Mons and SK for donation for the for the cause for Rauta. Currently, our budget is pretty cool in the sense that once I've done paying the hotel for Beyond the Gates, we have some money now, ready to be spent on whatever the next festival is gonna be. So it looks good for year 2025. I don't know if there will be having more foreign festivals in 2024. We have Helsinki Metal Festival a week after Beyond the Gates, but that's not really eating our budget because it's in Finland, so we don't have to book flights. And personally, my accommodation and as well as my cameraman's accommodation are taken care of without Rauta budget, so we can actually save the money for later use. Cody's is saying I look better with shaved head. Yeah, I know I'm a little bit of having hair here, so yeah, gonna shave the head soon. Alex, nice to hear that you enjoyed the pop songs and other non-metallic songs done by metal bands. There's a fourth episode coming tomorrow, and I will do a few more because it's fun to listen to sometimes metal bands covering non-metal songs. It gives you a little bit perspective how talented metal bands can be when they're covering something non-metallic, and also it can you actually show you some cool names outside metal because there's a reason why certain metal bands decided to do some non-metallic act. Like sometimes it's punk. That's kind of safe when Children of Bottom or Mayhem or Slayer went for punk covers. But like I will show you in the next episode tomorrow, uh, there are some songs coming from the pop environment scene or country rock for that matter, which are also covers. So they are interesting choices. Let's be honest about it. And there will be more than these 4 episodes. I think at least 6, but we'll see. Let's go with the questions. This is fun. Username Cam Medical Pathologist, living in California. Nice. I've been to California only once, but I did enjoy California. Oh no, Natra, these beers are not from America. These are from Finland. So this is a Finnish small brewery having this beer made. So might not be available outside Finland, but let's hope this brewery will grow and make the beer available worldwide. Yes, Raharuho, there will be actually. I was asking the brewery, can we do Martti videos with some of the beers? Because that would be kind of a fun, because Martti loves all kind of alcohol, and I think Martti would be totally the right character to taste some of these beers. So keep your thumbs up for next week, and when I'm gonna go out for some beers with my cameraman, that we can invoke a little bit Martti with beers. So let's hope that. John Short already had 2 beers so far on my stream. That's good one. Yes, Nitrate, New England IPAs are really good. They're hazy ones. Though I prefer these kind of double IPAs over NAPAs, but I do like NAPAs, like mentioned. Oh yeah, Alex, and Black Swan also a band beer. Good noticing. Thank you so much, Alex, for your donation. That's a really, really big donation. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I cannot underline how much I appreciate when people are putting money. I don't do this for money, nor does my cameraman. I hope everybody understands it. But as you know, money spins the world, meaning this money you people donate, thank you for that, will be used for flights and hotel rooms, meaning the more we have the budget coming from YouTube revenues and donations and of course Patreon income. There are Patreon followers, supporters on the stream very at the moment. Thank you for that. So it doesn't matter which way you financially support Rauta, it all goes to the same place, and that is the account where I put Rauta money, and that's me and my cameraman. We get to travel. I know it sounds like a luxury thing that we got free hotels and free flights. I wish it was that luxurious, but indeed, yeah. That money is putting that on the trips so that we can interview bands that are never coming to Finland. Like, actually, I think I owe you this at the moment, even though I don't want to officially announce anything so far. But Beyond the Gates, which I said is like 2.5 weeks away, and I already got 4 interviews set up. Um, Enslaved Part 2, which is, I think, kind of overdue because we had that good conversation early 2019, and I kind of want to go back, especially now that this is happening in their own home city. Aura Noir yesterday said yes, which is, in my opinion, also very important to do part two. The part one was not really good one, and it was too short. That was 2018. What else? Oh yeah, Gal promised to do interview, so we can talk about, I guess, Gal's word traildom and hopefully his days of Gorgoroth as well. And Whoredom Rife, which just put out the new album recently. This is something that we already agreed to do a couple of years ago in Oslo when I met the Whoredom Rife guy. Well, one of them, the vocalist. So 4 interviews are already set, but there are still something that I hope to respond, including but not limited to bands like Venom, Satyricon, Behemoth, which is not likely to happen. And then there was some else. My point here is I'm trying to do 2 interviews per day. And since Beyond the Gates is 4 days, I'm trying to do 8. 4 in, 4 still unclear. So this is how you know how the money is spent. We take flights with me and my cameraman to a festival like Beyond the Gates. We get the hotel, or in this case, more like Airbnb type of place. And we do the interviews. And we're trying to do some kind of overall thing about the whole festival and give you a little bit of footage of Bergen area, because this year, we will be there 5 days. Festival takes 4, so we have 5th day for tourism, meaning mountains and surroundings of the city. So I hope that I can give you a little bit of a recap video, which when I can show you not only the interviews, but the surroundings and all. Now, in a few seconds, you will probably see some ads made by YouTube. So see you in a few seconds. Hopefully, back from the news break, and also you're a roll, people. Either you're drinking or you're really sharing me the love tonight. Thank you so much, Johnson Rocks. Your donation won't be forgotten. So this is big time. Thank you so much on behalf of myself, as well as my cameraman and my editor Mintu, who is always putting these interviews together. Everybody's getting their share of the money here. So thank you so much. These donations really mean a lot to us, because like I said, traveling takes money. And now that we are pretty nice in terms of budget, I hope we can make more trips in 2025 than ever before. At least it looks pretty good. Now you get to soon actually say something about these trips. But like I said, I wanted to explain how the money is used and what can we do. So after Beyond the Gate, which we will have for 4 days, and 5th day for tourism. After a week after that, we will have Helsinki Metal Festival, which is 2 days, which probably we're aiming for 4 interviews. And I'm trying really to get D-side this time, and whatever other bands there are available, which I haven't interviewed yet. So I hope that by roughly mid-August, I should have something like, hopefully, this is me guessing, if the two interviews per day stuff happens, I should have something like 12 interviews for you to check out during August, September, October, and all. And anything after August is still in the fog of war. meaning I don't know when and where we are going to travel next. But rest assured, the money won't be spent anything else but, traveling. So thumbs up for that. But I'll talk about that in a little bit later. You get to actually say something about it since you're putting your money on it. So back to your questions and all that stuff, which you were saying. Zach, coming from Arizona, nice to have you here. And yeah, for metal videos editor, William Shakespeare, the beer or not the beer? Hello, hijo del sol negro. Nice to have some black sun here. Well, son of the black sun. Yes, Nedred, I can actually enjoy room temperature double IPA because room temperature, technically speaking, this is a little bit colder than room temperature because these were out. But yeah, I really love when the beer tastes strong. Treasury Rocks has a good question. What do I think about bands changing their logo when they get more popular, from cool to readable? Yeah, there are bands like, say, Metallica or actually Enslaved, Immortal. Lots of bands during the years have changed the logo. I don't necessarily think it's about coming with succession. Sometimes it's just that whatever you had early on, the logos, sometimes they are not really good looking. Don't get me wrong. I kind of like the early Enslaved logo with the inverted crosses and all that stuff, but I kind of also always thought it's kind of a clumsy compared to, say, logos like Emperor or Dark Throne or Burzum Bathory, what have you. Never been a big fan of, say, Marduk logo. So, for example, when Enslaved decided to go more readable, not so cult, not so statement like removing the inverted crosses and all, I still think that it served Enslaved's purpose way better. In a way, the same thing happened with Immortal. Okay, you lose those inverted crosses along the line, along the way, but it also kind of looks just better, more kind of detailed, focused, and all that stuff, even if it means simplistic. But of course, there are like perfect logos. Like I think Morbid Angel logo, one of the best looking logos of all times when it comes to metal, or Iron Maiden for that matter, Metallica, things like that. So you can be readable and really cool. One thing that I really like in Metallica logo, for instance, is that it looks really metal. It's like with those sharp edges, they're almost like cutting a hole in your fingers when you're holding a LP or a CD. But it's still very, very readable. Then again, logos like Emperor, I wouldn't change it. Or Old Death logo, spiderweb, a scythe, inverted cross, kind of a ghost face. So certain logos can be really, really kind of bringing the message. And of course, some bands shouldn't change the logo, like Slayer never did. But I mean, I kind of get it. When you hear a logo, which is kind of like butt ugly, so it's not about just changing from the cool cult logo to something more readable. It's just making it kind of look better. Much like you have like figured out from your demo days when the sound was pretty crappy to something which is more striking. But of course, some bands go for worse logos. So it's not necessarily an upgrade, really. But it's a good question, in my opinion. Yes, Rob Helvar mentioning Guinness is a beautiful beer, best at room temperature. I really like Guinness, and I think it's doesn't have to be too cold. Same goes for Beamish and other Irish stouts. Al Mothibi says the same. Stout at room temperature is great. Naturally, yeah, there's a Clandestine Blaze CD on the background because lately, in case you've been wondering on the Discord, I've been listening to Clandestine Blaze because now I'm back to listening to my own record collection after the daily reviews, and I'm in the letter C, which means I'm technically going through Clandestine Blaze discography at the moment, which will actually benefit also when I'm doing the 1990s Finnish black metal video series at some point. But first, like there was Cannibal Corpse retrospective out recently, there will be Baptism discography video also. And then I will actually be doing Beherit discography also, the retrospective. And you can already figure out where this is leading. When I'm doing these discography videos for their own videos, I'm also prepping for Finnish black metal retrospective kind of a thing, much like I did with the True Norwegian Black Metal series from the 90s. So what I did with the Norwegian project is going to be a Finnish project, though. So there are benefits of listening to certain bands' full discography. At the moment, however, I'm listening to Brujeria discography, and now you can also figure out where this is coming from. This is coming from the bands I've interviewed. So I interviewed Cannibal Corpse. I'm gonna do their retrospective. I interviewed Baptism. I am gonna do that. I did already At the Gates. Done with the interview. Done with the retrospective. Brujeria, part of the same deal. So you will see those retrospective videos coming up of the bands I have interviewed. Some of them I have actually done retrospective, like I already did Aura Noir retrospective video, although with different name, ranking worst to best, a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago already. And this was before I was figure out that I'm going to do them with bands I've interviewed. So certain bands are not going to get a new run just because I figured out this idea later on. But there will be these links. So bands I've interviewed and bands I'm going to go through in retrospective. And then this Finnish black metal of the 90s kind of a thing. The Mothibi is asking why not drink from the can? Like I said, I wanted to pour the beer in the glass so you would see what kind of color it is, and I could see it. But in terms of drinking, I could just do it like this. Alex N learned Jaloviina at Numerokkina. Jaloviina is a traditional brandy from Finland, so kind of a bad tasting booze, but very, very Finnish thing also. Oh yeah, Brian Mons, this is actually James Bond whiskey glass, which I got from my mother-in-law. I had 6 of them. As you can see here, exclusive collection, and it's James Bond thing. I like the shape. There are people who prefer the kind of round-shaped whiskey glasses, where I want more like square ones, but with rounded corners. So I really like these ones. I have the kind of a sniffing whiskey glasses also, but this is my go-to style when I'm drinking whiskey. Oh yeah, Nedred, and I hope you get to taste these Masis beers. But like I said, I don't know if these beers are available outside Finland at the moment. But yeah, let's hope they will be conquering the world at some point. Because I don't want to tease Nadred with beer he cannot buy. Maybe he will get to taste this one once he comes to Finland. Dimi Fisher is asking if I have listened to the new Nile songs. No, I'm waiting for the full album. I rarely go for singles, even with the bands I'm really passionate about. I just want to listen to full albums rather than singles. So that's why I've been skipping it, much like with the other bands putting out singles also. And Rob, unfortunately, I don't have a discount code for these beers. Alex, no, I didn't go to Tuska. Tuska Festival has been shit since 2019. Ben, I don't have other thoughts on Black Parade except for the video I did after they played at Midgårds Plot last year, and when there was this weird spitting incident that was so stupid. So there's my thoughts. Yeah, Brian Mons. I mean, it would be nice to go for Messes de Morts at some point. Really, it would be, but it's also like a very, very expensive trip to do. Kind of hard to justify that trip versus the bands I get to interview there versus what I have, like, say, at Steelfest, Inferno, Beyond the Gates, whatever. But yeah, I would be really, really love to go to Canada and see the festival. Same thing for Maryland Death Fest. Thank you, Rob. I'm really proud of those particular bands like Blasphemy and Diocletian and all that stuff, because I know they are not doing too many interviews out there. So Yeah. Of course, I'm happy to have so-called exclusive content. By the way, next week will be Dödheim Scarred. Brendan, this guy like this guy looks like he likes black metal or death metal. Am I correct? I don't know which guy you're talking about. Well, Rob, I'm glad that you like Blasphemy Interview, and it's nice if it's your favorite one. At this point, I really can't say which is my favorite one. I mean, I love talking to Blasphemy guys, but I guess one of my favorites would be Dom G Warrior, and Zemiel Interview was definitely one of my favorites. Usurper, but for different reasons. So nowadays, I have plenty of favorites because what I get out of those interviews, which I would consider my favorites, are when I really go deep into the mindset of this guy. Well, like this Dirtham's card interview is also one of my modern favorites because we talk so many things through and it's so lengthy. Also, the Inquisition one for the same reasons. It's not some 20 minutes in and out, but for like 70 minutes. Dirtham's card was something like, I think, 40, much like Diocletian. And I really liked because we get to go so deep and all, but really, it's like picking your favorite kids. So can't really say like, I like this interview as my best and this not so much. I mean, certainly some interviews are better than the rest, but hard to figure out like your favorite kids, really. Leif is asking interesting question. How do I think AI, artificial intelligence, will change the music industry? I think the change has already, of course, started with album covers. People are using AI to master albums, and what I've been hearing about it, doing relatively good job at it. Not the album covers, but mastering. Setting up volume levels and all that stuff. So kind of a cutting down the manual work. And I think manual work is very, very important in terms of playing or even cover art. But maybe mastering is not really the stuff you should waste your time too much. Mixing is one thing, when you figure out what you want to hear and which way. But there's certain parts where it's like doing the chores really. So AI will definitely change that a lot. I think people will be doing intros and outros and all that shit, layouts even. Music videos will be done with AI. You already seen a lot of those boring lyric videos, which are just, I don't know, cover image on the background and then some lyrical content on the forefront, which I find really boring. I don't really consider them music videos. Music videos when you actually film to do something, not just run, lyrics like it's almost like comparing to something like a background ambience. You put something on your screen, like a fireplace animation, versus watching a movie. You wouldn't call those ambient videos a movie, right? So I'm saying these lyric videos, they are not music videos. They are just lyric videos. And I think artificial intelligence will be used to do similar content like that. There are benefits of AI. For example, when streaming services are trying to suggest you new music, they're figuring out, okay, this guy likes Cannibal Corpse. This guy also likes Clandestine Blaze. This guy likes Dark Throne. And these guys like Pink Floyd. What to think of it? And then AI starts like, okay, because you like this and that band, you might like this and that. I mean, there are obvious benefits to AI when it figures out what kind of stuff you're into. So if you like this and that, and the other guys like this and that, AI cannot like recommend because these people like this and that, and also this that, and you like, hey, you should probably like the same band. That's basically like, Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever navigation software is figuring out which route is the fastest. That's basically AI benefits. Figuring out like you should go take that route or that road or those streets to reach your destination. That's AI stuff. That's where it actually helps. So there are obvious uses and obvious benefits of having AI. When it comes to music, it's hard to say. If you let AI do your music, like the songwriting parts, lyrical part, I think then you're using it wrong. but we will see how it goes in the future. Rob Hellfire, don't worry about donations. Like nobody's begging for donations here. Don't worry about it. Yes, Brandon, I know Wolves in the Throne Room. I've actually interviewed them when they played in Finland a few years ago. Leif, I have actually asked to do Mortu's interview with Marduk, but Marduk is not playing at Beyond the Gate, so I don't know when that would be possible. Philip Luft, I think Mark Vikernes interview is kind of impossible. I have actually asked him maybe a year ago on service X, previously known as Twitter, but Vikernes never replied. So what can you say? It's hard really to interview those bands that don't do festival gigs because then they are not really available for face-to-face chatting, and it's not like we got the money to travel to Vikernes' house and say, hey, we're gonna do interview. Yep, and naturally it would be nice to be back to America for some festivals and reviews, definitely. And thank you for your words, John Jared. I tried to do the underground metal work. Done. Not so easy every time, but I'll do my best. Um, yeah, Alex, and I've been hearing a lot about Kaunis Kuolematon. Some say it's like a Kuoleman log, so not spin-off, but similar to that. Leif, I tried to do Rotting Christ interview a couple of years ago at Midcoach Blood, but I never got the reply. Septic Flesh, maybe when they are around. And Netred, no, I really couldn't imagine Dogthrone, redid their logo. That would be weird. Leif, much like with Crisium, it depends where they play. Regarding Demonas and Abbath interviews, I've asked both. I've been turned down by Abbath 2 times. And the last time I was contacting Demonas because he lives in Bergen, I was told he's not doing interviews at the time. So this time I haven't even asked. Let's see when they are playing. Oh, Never Number Rules. Nice to have you here for a bit. Hello, Fartain. Thank you, Proscriptor. I try to keep I try to keep the channel going. Brandon H talking about Bond movies. I watched all but the latest Bond movie last year on Amazon Prime. It took me quite a few months to finish almost 50 movies. But yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if they're 50, more like 25. I just came up with the 50. It's actually 50th anniversary was with Bonds, but something like 24, 25 movies. Yeah, quite a bit. Aske, I haven't heard new Horna, so I don't know anything about that. Hello, Jack from Seattle. Nice to have you here as well. And yeah, Rob, it'll be interesting if Blackbird actually managed to burn some bridges when they were in Europe. Yeah. Well, yeah, Rob Ackler's interview is also one of my favorites. We really bonded over the interesting topics and all, so that was nice. There was this I cannot pronounce those weird Cyrillic letters, but one of the commentators here said that Baptism is one of the greatest band in Finland. Why was the group never mentioned in the film about Finnish black metal? If you're talking about the Gehenna documentary, maybe they opted out. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to, have part of it. But I will be including Baptism in my Finnish black metal series when I get that far. Chuck, I did listen to their latest Roden Christ album. I find it very safe, certain degree likable, but didn't make waves in my head. And didn't get a review copy, so didn't review it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And Android, I totally agree. I don't use those streaming service AI functions like, hey, because you like this and that, you might like. I don't really use them. That is, when I open, say, Spotify, I go for certain albums or bands that I already know I'm going to listen to. Like lately, Brujeria discography, before that, Baptism, before that, Cannibal Corpse. So, yeah, I don't really need the streaming service AI to tell you just because you like Cannibal Corpse, you should probably check out this and that band. It doesn't really suit my needs or goals because I want to listen to some cool bands and I just kind of turn it into so it benefits or makes content for Rauta as well. So I rather go for some full discography run and then make video out of Rauta rather than just jump from one album or band to another just because some AI generated decided that. Now there will be an ad break in a second or two. See you a bit. Now I hope you're back from the advertisement break. Mr. B is asking a good question. Second interview was interesting. He kind of danced around the answer around the whole accusation situation. Well, yeah, and he mentioned why, because he could be incriminated for certain words, especially if they were edited out of the stuff. So I understand his point. And Mr. B is also asking a very, very good question, which I have answered before. Do I separate the art from the allegations, like Burzum? Yes, I separate the art from the artist himself. I love Burzum, but I find later days weakness is kind of like a weird case. So, yeah. And naturally, I agree about the AI detecting plagiarism or how you pronounce it. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Brandon is asking, do I get nervous about some of the xenophobic elements, a lot of black metal? Not really, because like so many other people, I think a lot of hatred has a lot of place in black metal. I don't necessarily agree. Like, I personally detest racism. I think racism is a silly waste of time. I don't judge people by their skin tone or whatever. And I don't think white people would do that. Yet, that is still one of the topics you will see in black metal. I mean, I could have, say, a kid who is not white. And then I most definitely wouldn't be like, hey, racism is fucking cool, man. But I still understand why it is there. Much like, death metal lyrics deal with, say, serial killers or murderers. Do I stop listening to death metal just because I don't want to be murdered and I don't, for sure, support serial killers? If I make my point, and because I'm not choosing side when it comes to politics, I can listen to left wing stuff. I can listen to right wing stuff. That is, I can listen to the very same day some NSBM as Napalm Death without choosing the side. Now, if I got to choose side from Napalm Death or NSBM bands, I would go for Napalm Death. but musically it has not really any kind of a relevance. Some asshole might do the best riff in the world. Some best guy in the world could do the shittiest riff on earth. So that's why I personally feel like I need to separate the art from the artists. And also, some good lyrics have shitty music. Some good music have shitty lyrics. I can listen to shitty music. I'm sorry, good music with shitty lyrics, but I cannot enjoy good lyrics if the music is shitty. I mean, I can enjoy the lyrics, but I don't want to listen to the music just in order to get those lyrics, if I get my point clear. So it's much like in sex life. No matter how hot certain person is mentally, you can feel like some woman or guy, for that matter, might be super sexy when it comes to the smartness, intelligence, and all that's like. Some people have the greatest charisma, greatest personality. Look, I could fucking love that person for the charisma, the personality. But if that person is butt ugly, or let's put it this way, if that person is not arousing you in a physical sense of thing, it doesn't really help. So once again, you have to be able to separate physical things from mental things. Same thing as you separate the artist's views from the riffs, from the melodies, from the even lyrical content in certain degree. So I don't think these are entwined in a sense. I mean, of course, you get an album. Album is made of music. Album is made of those lyrics. Album is made of those cover art and other visual aspects. Sure, if they all are great, even better. Then you have a great album with great cover, with great lyrics. But let's be also honest about it. There are bands which you have no idea what they are singing about. Say, take a band like Warlock from Finland. You don't see their lyrics printed, and you can still enjoy their black metal, right? So sometimes you just hear a great tune, a great melody, or great riff, a great album, and you're like, I have no fucking idea what these guys are singing because I don't understand the language, and I cannot find their lyrics in the CD, in the vinyl, online, whatever. And I can still enjoy the music. And when you find the lyrics and I'm like, oh man, these are pretty horrible. These are pretty crap. But at least the music is good. So you kind of like let it slide. It's almost like with the beer cans. You can have like, oh, this beer can looks butt ugly. Fuck that shit. But the beer is actually good, so fuck it. So my point is, sometimes you get the whole package where everything is great. And sometimes you get only certain parts which are great. But like beer, even if this was like unpainted beer can, like just pure metal, nothing would say anything. I don't like, I don't care because the beer is good and that's all that counts. Luckily, I just happen to like this beer can as well. Stop here, US officers. So my point here is, of course, it's better when you have all the ingredients. Like if you have this good-looking woman, she's hot. She's also smart. She's fun. She's free. Win, win, win. Lottery fucking time. But if she's only hot, maybe she's brain dead. Like really dumb and really has obnoxious attitudes. You can still have sex with that person if she's hot. I actually know one of the kind of gal. Once upon a time, a few years ago, had sex with this really good-looking woman. But she was kind of annoying when it comes to personality, especially when she was drunk. She was like a broken record, saying some stupid, toxic shit, and it was like, fuck, this person is getting annoying. She was like borderline, fucking get the fuck out of here. But she was also really, really pretty. So, what do you know? Don't take any life coaching from me. I'm just saying how I perceive things, and feel free to disagree. Maybe you should disagree with me and don't take anything I say like, hey, it's the truth. That's just one bald guy from Finland, and I might be full of shit in your opinion, and that's fucking fine. I'm just saying how I feel things are, and that might be quite of a nihilistic take in your worldview or whatever. But that's how it is. Judge Rock saying Roger Moore is the best one. Don't get me wrong, I like Roger Moore, but I think he's probably the least favorite of mine when it comes to James Bond. because I like the more serious guy, the more violent guy, the straight to the point. Roger Moore Bond movies suck, in my opinion, most because they're too comedic. Um, but Roger Moore, as such, is a great character. Sorry, great actor. He used to be before he died. Um, Stry William is asking, or is it Willem? Is asking, would I interview Hootie and the Blowfish? I would fucking interview all the bands in the world if I get the chance. What else? Philip Luthi said black metal is the most abysmal type of music. Quite possibly. Zach is saying, like this interview with Electric Wizard. Maybe. And Havukrono. Good news for you, Zach. I already interviewed Havukrono in 2020 or so. So Havukrono interview is already out there. Been for a few years. Maybe you people sometimes should go and browse Rauta's interview section. Or check out links like this. I'm going to show it to you. This particular Google Sheet is including most of the reviews and all the interviews I've done so far. So feel free to browse or open Rauta's interview section and start browsing what you have there. There are something like 170 interviews already. Freeway Yaffa is asking my opinion about Grand Belial Ski or Arcos Land, where Arcos Land is, in my opinion, boring melodic death metal, and I don't really care about the lyrics, so not really my cup of tea. Grand Belial Ski is okay US PM, but not my kind of a favorite PM anyway. Yeah, Zach, Varg's creativity really suffered. In my opinion, Vikernes hasn't really been putting out good albums in over 10 years. Then again, Dark Throne hasn't really been putting out good albums in like 16 years. So there's that. Terve Otto Koskipää. Very good. Nice to have you here. In case you don't know, people, Otto is a very good friend of mine, and he has been in one of those Martti videos, or maybe even two. Otto is my frequent friend at Steelfest. So nice to have you here. Nice to have you here for the first time. Otto has had massive beers, and trust me, my friends, Otto really has a good taste when it comes to beer and whiskey. He knows way much more about whiskey than I do, but we share a lot in common in terms of like we like good booze, that is good beer, good whiskey, good music, good women. Can we say that? But yeah, Otto is a really good guy, and if you ever get to meet Otto, you know why he's such a great guy. He has been one of the best hosts ever when I've been visiting his house or apartment. Always taking good care of me, and great festival company. Cheers to Otto, one of the best guys in the world. Otto is having some Finnish beer and American bourbon while looking at this. That's great stuff. Rob Oliver say it's plagiarism. Yes, let's do it with that. Philip Luft, if you ask me, I would love a smart, intelligent, but also good-looking girl who is fun. So there's that. Yeah, and it's a rarity, evidently. Brendan, I don't think that Americans are crazy or weird. Surely, some Americans are really batshit crazy. I mean, you have the Bible Belt and all, but then again, a lot of other countries have crazy people as well. And of course, a lot of my favorite things like movies, video games, music come from America. Some of my favorite bands come from, America. Slayer, Death, Metallica, fucking Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel. So I really don't have anything against Americans, but I just seen some weird ass American statements online. But yeah, really, in general, I don't have anything against American people. American people can be really good. I've been to America 3 times, 1 road trip and 2 other trips. And American people have been really friendly to me. Like, even if I've been on my own, they are helping. Like, where are you coming from? What you need? Blah, blah, blah. So and my thumbnail maker, who does the thumbnails for Rauta's video, Chris, he's an American guy, really one of the most friendliest guys I've ever met. Otto, who is hopefully here still, uh, got to know him. We were at the same Airbnb place at Steelfest for 2 years in a row now. I mean, me and Otto have been there more like 5 years, I think now. 4, 5 years. Not five, because 2019 was COVID, but at least like 4 years, I guess. Um, and Chris, the thumbnail maker, has been there like 2 years in a row. And Chris is just fantastic dude. And he's American dude, so there's that. He brought actually some good bourbon for me and Otto as well, plus some other things. And he's just a great guy. And actually, I did this Marty stream with me, so let's share some love to American friends of us. And I've met a lot of good Canadians too, mind you, before the Canadians got upset. Like this year, I met once again, I met the Deletier guy and Ivernach guy from Canada. Really friendly. I met quite a few Canadian guys over the years at Steelfest and other places, including Forest guys. So I have nothing bad to say about Canadian people, including guys from Blasphemy. So yeah, nothing against North Americans. There are plenty of good people, nice people, really hospitable people. All right. Yes, Rob Halfa, you're actually right. Sapiosexual is a person who finds intelligence extremely sexy. I find intelligence very, very big part of the thing, but it doesn't really get me, give me the boner. So I really, I am into smart people. All my girlfriends, past and present, have been really, really smart people. I think sometimes I feel like I've been orally blessed by smart women. I've been always quite lucky with women. Don't want to boast, but just saying my love to the women I've been with. All my past girlfriends, for example, all smart, not all equally fun, though. I mean, some are more fun than the others, but they are all always been smart and nice people, and also fucking good looking. I've always been like weirdly fucking lucky with the women I've been with. I've always got the good looking ladies who are smart and nice to be with. So, what can I say? I do like smart people. Smart people make me think, they make me smile, they make me laugh, and they challenge me with nice conversation, which is something I cannot say about stupid people. Stupid people just make me thirsty. Stupid people are like, hey, it's beer o'clock. I need to run, take a piss, take a beer, take another beer, maybe 5 beers, and then I will get back to you because then I need to be kind of like, what are you saying? What's the topic? What's the topic, my friends? What the fuck, man? But no, I really need to, be with smart people to feel like, wow, because I don't consider myself particularly smart. I also don't consider myself particularly stupid. I guess I'm in the mediocre level, the average Joe. So when I see smart people, I'm like looking up. Hey, these are the smart people. These are the ones I can learn from and try to be like them. And when I see stupid people, I'm like, fuck. Let's hope that I'm not gonna be like them. I hope I won't end up like them. Don't get me wrong. Some stupid people are really, really the nicest people on earth. They're probably less obnoxious than the smart people because they're too kind of dumb to be obnoxious. They're like, hey, I just like metal, my friend. Horns up. And you're like, man, that's probably the smartest thing you said during all day. And I mean it in a sarcastic way, but also in a way that, hey, you really can't hate a lot of dumb people because they're kind of like too dumb to be hated. They're just like harmless. They're like, they just want to be right there. So like maybe a little bit retarded. I don't know. Don't get me offended or anything like that. But I'm just saying it's good to have people you can look up to and like, I want to be that person, that woman, that guy, that non-gender person, whatever, doesn't matter. So yeah, I would say in general, people should hang out with smart people. They're good for you and for your soul if you believe in soul or whatever. Zach is asking if have I interviewed Oranzi Pazuzu. No, I haven't. I interviewed Oranzi Pazuzu, but once upon a time they played outside in Finland. I was actually thinking about should I do interview with them outside Finland, but no, it didn't happen. Maybe someday. Rob Helvar is saying and like to see me interview Vatty Buchanan from The Exploited. I mean, why not? Why not? It would be actually fun to interview some punk people, even though it's not really the core audience what Rauta people want. Freeway Yaffa has been, what's the best gig I have seen? That's a really good question. Otto might remember if he's still on the chat, but me and Otto back in 2004, we saw Satyricon with Nocturno Calto play Dark Throne. We were both fucking drunk, but when Satyricon gig suddenly became Dark Throne gig for some 30 minutes, give or take, that was like fantastic. Definitely one of the best gigs I've ever seen. That was in Wacken in 2004. I still have the shirt with it's like a Dark Throne Nocturno Calto print here. That was some great. I think Otto still remembers it. We were like mind fucking blown, drunk as a skunk, and still I could remember the whole fucking thing because it was so great. Some other gig, really, really, really favorite gigs I've seen are done by Rammstein. Hence, I have these Rammstein mugs. Like this is from 2019, just before COVID hit this place. Water time. Because Rammstein is really, really good on stage. They're like extremely good. You know what I mean when you see them live. It's beyond just like, let's play some tunes on stage, like, oh, bang your head, whatever. Rammstein is like a phenomenon. I kid you not. It's majestic. It's like a fucking theater show with great songs, various themes, and all that stuff. So, to quickly answer your question, well, favorite, the best gig, Rammstein gig or the Dark Throne gig? Take your pick. Ivan Ooze is asking, is a whiskey cola blasphemy? No, I don't think it's a blasphemy. I mean, whiskey and Coke is a classic, but I prefer to have whiskey which doesn't need any kind of a soda. But whiskey and Coke, I mean, why not? Zach is asking, what are my thoughts about Mastodon and Baroness and the Queens of the Stone Age? I'm not really into stoner rock, so it's not the kind of stuff I'm into. Brandon is saying, we love Finland. You guys joined NATO with us. I'm happy that we joined NATO. Do I like Discord MX? I remember Mexican Discord being quite good. Cameron is asking if I ever interviewed someone from Zemial. Yes, I did in 2019 with Warskath and Proscriptor from Abzu, both in the same interview of Zemial. I already linked this Rauta's, excuse me, Rauta's interviews and reviews link, but you can see the Zemial interview right there. Zaki asking if I do like Under the Sign of the Hell by Gorgoroth. Yes, I do. I covered pretty much my thoughts on Gorgoroth with the Norwegian black metal video series. Zach, some stupid people are criminals, not all of them. Yes, John Rocks is exactly right. He said he's stupid but has a lot of fun. So maybe he's not that stupid after all. So if you people think that stupid people are uh, annoying you and hurting your brain, stay the fuck out of them. Be with smart people, like I said. Zach, what does it mean it's 109 here in Arizona? Are you talking about Fahrenheit's? Brandon H., I have never got a bad injury at a show, like broken bones. I have only once broken my bone, and that was with a martial arts thing. Yes, Otto Koskipää, that fucking dog throne thing was so good. I'm really happy that you and me got to share that stuff. Those Wacken days, they were crazy. We had so good. Remember when we Otto, remember when we went to get some food? I think it was after Slayer and Nile had played in 2003. Kann ich habe eine tortilla chips with extra pepperoni? We tried so hard with that fucking German. And they were like, yeah, let's give you extra fucking pepperoni or fucking jalapenos. Good times. Me and Otto, in case people are wondering, we've known since 2002, I think, through a common this what do you have you metal forum back in the days before social media started, you know, bursting bubbles. There was this imperiumi.net, a site I've written thousands and thousands of reviews and some interviews along the days, and also festival recaps. Otto also used to write some reviews and some festival recaps with me on Imperiumi. So that's why we traveled together certain festivals like Wacken like 5 times. And this was in 2003. Yeah. We had met before that one, but probably 2003. Could have been late 2002 anyway. So anyway, that's how we kind of bonded over seeing shows. We roughly the same age, and seeing a lot of bands, drinking a lot of beers. I remember this back in 2003, the first night I think it was. I already passed out in the early night, maybe late afternoon. Then I woke up around 9 p.m. Twisted Sister were playing. I was like fucking drunk around my tent, and I somehow made it to see some of the stuff. But very fucking vague recollections, because Wacken days were like 3 days of drinking outdoors with friends like Otto and all that stuff. But somehow I remember that Dark Throne moment from 2004. And the 2003, we saw bands like Slayer and Nile, and fuck, those were really, really good trips. And we've been to Steelfest Otto with like so many years now, before COVID even. That is, so many years. Judgment Rock saw Niflheim, Alaska, 2014. Wow, that's fucking great. Yeah, Judgment Rocks. I also think that the Zemial is underrated. It's so often kind of a forgotten because of Rotting Christ or Baratron or Necromantia and other early birds of Greek black metal. That's why, partially, that's why I want to make this video about Greek black metal scene of the 90s, much I like did with the Norwegian scene, because I think Greek black metal scene is so often overlooked, and so many bands are kind of a forgotten, even though they had made their impact back in the days. But yeah, it's easy to just like overlook the Greek scene because you have the Swedish scene, you have the Finnish scene, you have the Norwegian scene, of course. And then when people are talking about outside that stuff, they're okay, let's go to Canada, or let's go to, I don't know, other parts, German, France, whatever. And don't get me wrong, those countries really have important role in the world of black metal. But what people often forget, that Greek scene had things going on. I mean, bands founded late 80s rather than early 90s, Zemiel being one of them. So my point here is Greek black metal was kind of ahead of their time versus a lot of other countries. But because of what happened in Norway in particular, but also, of course, in Sweden, Finland, whatever, they kind of stole the show. So, I mean, like, Greek black metal was, hey, we have a demo, we have an album out, fuck you, we're burning churches here in Norway. And suddenly, the whole black metal in the early 90s became kind of a Nordic thing. And of course, that put Norway, Finland, Sweden on the map. Not so much Denmark, mind you, or Iceland. Iceland came like, hey, it's 2003. Can we join the party? And people like, yeah, you're 10 years late, but yeah, feel free to join the party. Bring your own bands and bottles. My point here is a lot of things happened in the early 90s in a way that Greek black metal was like, hey, we have plenty of good bands. We have this Varatron and Rotenkreist and, other bands. Are you interested? Fuck you. We're too busy in the Nordic countries. We're burning churches. Fuck you. So my point here is a lot of things happened in the late 90s, early 90s, even late 80s. But Greek black metal was more like it didn't make it to the mainstream. I'm using these quotation marks because it didn't make it to the news. Of course, people in the underground knew. And some of my earliest black metal bands I found early 90s, probably 1994 or so, were Rotenkreist. And that's like when these, things started opening up. Like, wow, they're bands. Back then, you didn't really care what the nationality was. Like, if it was from Norway, fine. If it was from Sweden or Finland or Greece, you didn't really care. So it was just like, you don't give a fuck where the band is coming from. But of course, later on, when people started, Googling shit up, this band ain't from Norway, it's not that cool. There was a lot of that stuff in the, at least, late 90s and probably early 2000s when people were like focusing on, if it's from Norway, color me interested. If it was some other place, I don't care, So indeed, Zemiel and the bands are like that are underrated. Then a few more questions. Probably another beer. I'm gonna check out which I want to have because I didn't put any of these in the cold. So let's see what I have here for tonight. Let's go with the Masis Brewery Skyline Hopper American Pale Ale 5.2. Now I'm gonna do a little bit more blasphemy and put a little bit more of that in the same glass, and then I will drink the rest from the can. As you can see, this is a little bit lighter in terms of color than the previous one. Not so amber-like. That was kind of like a golden in a way, a little bit more brownish, whereas this is more kind of a pale yellow. So there is difference in color. Yeah, this is really good as well. But now, mind you, I'm comparing to some kind of a double IPA, which is stronger in taste and alcohol. This, which is American Pale Ale. So obviously, this is a little bit lighter, more tough than typical lager. But when you compare it to double IPA, it's a little bit lighter. I'm going to finish this one and then I'm going to go and hit the bed. So final questions, meaning probably like 30, 40 minutes. Just Dave is asking or saying, I loved Death from the North. That is our band Nightside album, which you can see on the background, the vinyl one. What I'm pointing here. Here is the Death from the North. I don't have the CD here, but anyway, our album, which came out in May 24th, which we actually played for the first time songs last week, and Otto was there, by the way. So anyway, Dave seemed to like it, and any chance us Aussies will ever see you live? If you ask me, I fucking hope so. I would definitely love to travel to Australia, even though I fucking hate those poisonous animals, snakes and spiders, fucking spiders, and all the poisonous creatures in Australia. But I love my favorite animals. I don't have them here, but fuck, platypus, my favorite, the best animal on earth. And now people have been sending me some platypus things, even from Australia. I have the plush. I cannot show it to here, but it's on the top of one of my speakers. There's a platypus plush I got from an Australian friend of mine, and then I got from platypus like a key ring, supposed to be here, but probably on the shelf, and a platypus pin. So if you want to surprise me with something nice, platypus items. Yeah, so I hope we will get to play in Australia someday with Nightside. I would fucking love to visit that country. Zach is asking if I check out the Astrid Lifsins from Iceland. I still haven't had the time or remember to check it. Philip Luft is asking, say, do interview Belfegor. I asked Belfegor like 2 years ago when they played at Steel Chaos, and they said then, no, thank you. Maybe someday. Philip Luft is saying that German is the greatest language, period. Yeah, because they feel like they're shouting all the time. So German language is good for two things: adult entertainment and war movies. Ivan Uzi saying Infested Hellfuck is the best Dayside album ever. And I feel like all the I albums. Oh, yeah, you mean the band Infested. I remember that. That was Dan Svano album. Because I was going to say the I albums, Incinerate, Hymn, and In Torment in Hell are the weakest Dayside albums. But actually, Infested was actually pretty good of an album. Rob Hellfire is asking, how is Martu? Martu is, I'm going to write it down here. Type like this, Marty. Marty, I guess, is doing fine. Probably drinking beer and being goofy as fuck. Hopefully you would see some Marty videos next weekend. Zach is asking my thoughts on Agalloch and the ultimate band Best Noir. I never liked Best Noir. When they played at Steelfest, I think they sucked. So I'm not really a fan of their folky, rappy, what kind of a weird black metal thing. When it comes to Agalloch, I really like their own style, but I haven't gone through all the discography. The funny thing is, an anecdote, back in the 1990s, a very good friend of myself and Otto, Jussi, who I have interviewed for Rauta a couple of times, and a promoter and a band member himself. He's an old friend of John from Agalloch, and John from Agalloch traveled to Finland late 90s, say 1998, 1999, something like that. And that's when I got to meet the man for the first time. That's when Agalloch was basically barely existing or so. He was a really, really nice guy, a good American, mind you. 10, fast forward when Cannibal Corpse were playing in my home city in 2018. John's new band, not Agalloch, was actually warming up for Cannibal Corpse. And suddenly, like, hey, it's been like 20 years since the last time we met. And suddenly we were talking about this and that, like, as if nothing had happened. When 2 decades actually set us apart. Meeting him for the first time in like 1998 or 1999. And then another time in 2018. When Agalloch was actually split up, but already rather big cult name in United States scene. So pretty interesting. And pretty interesting that we have 2 Zachs here, one from Arizona and one from Seattle. And yes, Rob Hellfire, Yoth Iria is fucking amazing. In my opinion, better than Rotten Christ ever was. And I was happy to see Yoth Iria play live here in my home city a couple of years ago, and actually interview Jim Mutilator of Yotiria and Rotten Christ. A really, truly great person. I'm happy to hear that Rob Hellfire really likes the Greek black metal scene. They're so warm sounding, and Greek people are probably the best people on earth. They're really, really warm, really nice, really kind people. Fuck, I could live with the Greek people. They're so fucking nice. Oh, Treasury Rocks said that he didn't know I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer since early 80s. So, yes, I'm a very avid gamer, much like Satanic War Master, I guess. I recently, I'm going to show it to you because I have a physical copy. So, as you people know, you probably, oh, sorry, you cannot really see it because the chair is blocking the view. No, no, it's because of the camera angle. Let's, if I can show it. Here he is behind, the can of beer I was drinking and the box the beers came with. Um, let's move it a little bit further. My OLED TV, there you can see PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X controller, meaning I have the consoles here, So I am indeed a gamer, and now it seems like the speaker front came off. So, yeah, so what I'm playing at the moment, talking about nerdism, this was something that the War Moon Lord guy was really stoked up. Stoked for, Hogwarts Legacy, the world of fucking Harry Potter. I recently finished Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game. Great open world, like Horizon games and Far Cry games making a baby. I do love Far Cry games. They're my favorite shooter games of all times. And I do really, really love that stuff. And open world gaming is my kind of a thing. So, yeah, finished Avatar after so many months. I have had not so much time lately, meaning past few months, to play because being busy with Nightside, being busy with Rauta, being busy with traveling. We were in Spain for 2.5 weeks. But when I got back, I wanted to go with the Avatar and finish it, and it was actually a good game. And now I started Hogwarts Legacy on 2 days ago. Yeah, on Thursday. Yesterday I didn't have the time, nor today because I'm doing the stream. Otherwise, I would be playing it right at this moment. But yeah, I try to play most evenings during a week, and I fucking love video games. They take me to the world I'm not part of. They make me forget a lot of daily things, really. So for me, I remember these days, this is something that you need to learn about Rauta. Back in the 90s, probably very, very early 90s, not late 80s, but early 90s, I was figuring out I'm this weird guy because I like video games, I like role-playing games, and I also like extreme metal. I mean, I was already past beyond traditional heavy metal into thrash metal, death metal, listening to early bands of black metal. And it was really like, okay, these guys in the black metal scene, they might find me weird because I really like the tabletop games like Blood Bowl and Warhammer 40,000 and all that stuff. And I like, Dungeons and Dragons and shit. I'm into Star Wars. I'm into all that fantasy stuff and sci-fi and whatever. And I like probably these guys who are listening to satanic metal, they will find me fucking weird, nerdy guy. And it's like, I probably even shouldn't talk to these guys. Like, I have these weird hobbies. Now, fast forward just a little bit. And I was quick to find out that there were lots of fantasy and sci-fi nerds in black metal. And this is not even limited to Finland. I mean, first off, of course, I got to learn like bands like Horna, the name referring to hell or abyss or whatever. But that has a lot of Tolkien shit coming from the very, very early demo recordings. Like Yrkkivuorilta literally means from the Orc Mountains. Even if it's a skill all the Christians, which I was like, yeah, that's me. I fucking hate Christianity and religions in general, but especially Christianity because it was so prevalent in Finland. So I was this geeky guy, hating religions, liking metal, but also liking these weird, geeky, nerdy games. And I was soon to learn that guys from Horna, this is when Satanic War Master wasn't even existing, so meaning that Nazgul, or Satanic War Master as you know him now, or Werewolf, playing in also in Horna, they were all geek guys. They liked Tolkien, they liked all the geeky stuff, and then you would learn Burzum, Tolkien shit, Gorgoroth, Tolkien stuff, Immortal, on Pure Holocaust, they had the Star Wars riff from Imperial March. So suddenly you're like, wow. So instead of not being the normal black metal guy who was like into role playing stuff, games, video games, Tolkien stuff, Star Wars stuff, everybody else was too. Then you would learn like bands like Summoning is all about Tolkien worship. So suddenly you have like a band stealing a riff from Star Wars. I'm talking about Immortal here. You would learn that Von Dur from Sweden, they would use Star Wars kind of a mock up as one of their album covers. So Star Wars was suddenly like, okay, everybody's cool with that. I'm like, hey, suits me. Then you would learn bands like Hornak, Gorgoroth, Burzum, etc., Summoning. They would be all about Tolkien. They would be all about role-playing games. They would be all about fantasy games. And suddenly like, what the fuck? And I thought I was the weird guy because I was into these guys, and girls were giving me like weird faces. I can remember traumatized by this gorgeous girl in the 90s, say 1995 or so. Met her at the local bus. She was really good looking. I was like, man, that is out of my league. Then we started talking, maybe a local bar or whatever. And like, man, this is way too good looking woman. She gives me their phone number and all. I'm like, fuck, this is looking good. Then you phone the girl. What are you like? Yeah, I like heavy metal music. Yeah, I like video games. Yeah, I like role playing games. Basically. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? So for normal girls, not mind you, the metal girls, suddenly you're fucking worse, the weird fucking geek. You would like the satanic music. Okay. Satanic role-playing games. Not okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did this fucking happen? So I learned the role-playing games and the video games, the fantasy games and all that stuff, they were fucking equal to the music you were listening to. So you're reading the fantasy lyrics, you're listening to the satanic lyrics and all, you're playing with the fucking video games and the fantasy games, all aligned, all the same fucking people. People were throwing dice. Yeah, let's record a new Horna demo, but let's first I got a critical hit on you. Die, you fucking ogre. My wizard cast a fireball. Now, this is, of course, a little bit goofy simplification what I'm talking about here. But what I really learned that a lot of us, and this is not limited to bands like Horna, Satanic Warmaster, or the ones that I mentioned, I pretty soon learned that this is like a worldwide thing, really, or some ways kind of global thing. And it goes even beyond the black metal scene, obviously. When you would find that death metal guys were kind of goofy as well, you would find that it goes beyond that. Like even to a level like Amorphis doing, the Kalevala thing. You might feel saying like, yeah, but Kalevala is real cultural background. It's not some Tolkien or Star Wars stuff. Let's be real. When you are diving deep into the fucking rabbit hole, you're reading about this fantasy stuff, about wizards and sorcerers or witches or curses and all that stuff. It doesn't matter if it's old school pagan traditions or cultural books or video games or fantasy games. It all stems from the one and the same stuff. And that's called imagination. The love for something that is otherworldly, out of this world. And that has nothing to do with the booze and tits. That's one thing you like. Hey, I love beer. I like staring at those breasts, but I also fucking love to read these books of these great tales, play these games which take you into these worlds, watch the movies, play the games. It's just one big fucking bowl in the common world. And it was really, really eye-opening to learn that I am not there alone, but I am among the geeks, and the geeks make the best fucking music. So black metal is made by geeks, made by nerds, and that explains why certain people are not only in for Tolkien, but also the very satanic topics and occult and the like. But now YouTube is telling me that there will be an advertisement break. All right, and I hope by now the advertisement break is over, and now I get to read some of the background comments. But as I was saying, fantasy and black metal always go hand in hand. Anastasia is saying that thank you for the interview with Vikotnik. Really enjoyed it a lot. Thank you, Anastasia. It's nice to know, nice to hear from you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was probably my highlight for Steelfest. Don't get me wrong, I really liked all the bands I got to interview: Miss Turming, Diocletian, Blasphemy, Unleashed, and so on. But yeah, the Dirthames card is probably my favorite. So thank you, Anastasia. I'm glad that you enjoyed that particular interview. Yeah, talking about favorite Australian band, Destroyer 666 is definitely my favorite Australian band. And Zach, glad that you enjoyed the story about Agalok and John. Natred, yeah, Farmville and Candy Crush. I don't do anything else but play them 24/7. Zach, I actually have Dragon's Dogma 2 downloaded on my PlayStation 5. So yeah. And I have the Dark Souls remake, and I have also Elden Ring unfinished. But I don't know, I'm not that big fan of From Software hardcore gaming. And Otto Koskipää knows his music. Destroyer 666, the best Australian band of all times. Naturally, I'm personally waiting for two games in August: Space Marine 2 and Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know which one I actually wait for more, but I love Warhammer, I love Star Wars, so cool. I'm not into really streaming games anymore, but we'll see about it. I still should get to Diablo 4. I haven't been bothered getting it, but sometimes hack and slash is all you need. Have a great evening, you too, Ivan. Jurolamp, yes. Finns are supposed to have mandatory Christian class if you are part of a Christian church. That means if you're baptized and all. We had to, and I only got to like divorce the church when I was 18 or so. Yeah, Philip Luft, that was my point. Summoning is Tolkien metal. My point is a lot of black metal was built on Tolkien and stuff like that. Yeah, Nattered, I would say war metal kind of a changed the game in terms of black metal. But then again, that is because war metal is so much influenced by old school thrash and death metal, not just pure black metal. And Zach is right. Black metal is, or metal in general, is kind of a geek freak subculture. I mean, look at the power metal. It's all about build upon these whole things, even more openly than black metal. Cody is saying like he's in the Sim City, the Sims and Civilization. Definitely. Civilization is one of my favorite games past 30 years. I've always loved how to, like explore the world in Civilization, to compete against different nations, do a little bit diplomacy, fighting other nations and all that stuff. So yeah, and Sims is fun game. I jokingly say, partially true, that Sims is actually more role playing games than traditional role playing games. So, Philip Luft, I'm far away from getting drunk, but obviously the beer draws its trick. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Network, nowadays normal girls play video games and all that stuff, but it used to be very different in the early 90s. Zach, I played the first two Metro games. I finished the first one, even though I find it somewhat obnoxious. The second one I left off, but I'm still thinking of playing the third Metro game. Sniper, talking about sniper games, this is still my favorite gaming PR merchandise thing. Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 bottle opener. So yeah, perks of working in the gaming industry. So that's part of the reason why I'm such a gaming geek. Because, I've been working in the gaming industry since 1997. I could stream the games, but then they would be like overlapping some of the weekly videos. So I don't know. Dark Souls streaming, you would be hearing me cursing a lot. Yeah, Bloodborne. I used to play Bloodborne until the third boss, and then I gave up. Yes, John Rocks. Could that you remembered Samantha Fox strip poker? Um, that was fun times. Back when I had Commodore 64 home computing system or whatever it was called, we really played Samantha Fox strip poker to get Samantha Fox to beautiful face, bare naked man. It was such a great game back in the days. You would learn poker rules just because you played strip poker. Freeway Alpha is asking if there is a band I listen daily. No, because I'm always stuck with the Rauta projects, review albums mostly. So there's not even a band I listen like weekly or monthly. But if there was, I would say it would be Slayer or Wasp. Because I love Slayer and Wasp and Death, among other things, and Bathory. Some of those four bands would be the ones. Saki, I think Mist Hurming is roughly the same genre. I mean, same scene because the Icelandic scene is not that big really when it comes to black metal. And I agree that politics come into play in black metal because it's easy to kind of annoy and offend people with politics. Like back in late 90s, early 2000s, I think a lot of those bands who wanted to do something like NSPM stuff probably were not political at all, but it was easy to shake up things with certain, symbols and logos and saying something really edgy. That's, I think, where the kind of edge lord movement started happening because this was before social media. But you would get clicks, you would get a lot of talk about your band when you would do something really, really edgy in the world of black metal. So yeah, I think politics, in a way, in the world of black metal, were included because it would the people would know that it would take kind of a more extreme in a way. So when you would quote certain dictators, for example, and suddenly people would be like, "What is this band all about? They're so extreme. They're not just attacking Christianity or other religion. They're attacking, you know, the normal system, politics. They're quoting dictators and despots or whatever." So I think that's part of the reason. Um, yeah, it's like it's really cool to hear that the people in Portland don't give a fuck if you wear Burzum or Mastodon shirt, because I think that's what really should happen. Nadred, yeah, I've been working since 1997 in the gaming industry, and it started by accident. I was unemployed at the moment after school, and one of the jobs unemployment office offered me was actually going to tech support. No, yeah, I think it was tech support at first in a gaming importing company, a company that would be importing games, computers, computer accessories like mice, keyboards, gaming controllers, joysticks, whatever. And the first day, I'm taking the job. First, I'm like getting just a minor compensation, not like real pay. I would go there. First day I was at the warehouse packing some stuff. Then there was this tech support guy who was gonna leave the job, and I was trained to replace him. Like take the phone call. Okay, this is Jerry from Toptronics. How can I help you? Oh, you're having hard time installing the game. Okay. What's your computer setup like? Okay. Do you have your computer right there with you? Okay. What? Okay. And then I would go through how to install the game, update graphics card. But mind you, back in the days, 1997, 1998, stuff like that. A lot of people didn't have internet access. So they, for example, when they were supposed to say update their graphics card or sound card drivers, they would go to say places like library or their workplace, download those drivers on floppy disks, then bring them home and update from that. It was very, very confusing and complicated thing to upload drivers. Where nowadays you have like NVIDIA or ATI or whatever, like click, click, click. Okay, it's auto updating and things work like a fucking charm most of the times. But back in the days when people didn't have internet access, and even if they did, it was more complicated thing. I would actually like guide them through like type this and that address. Type like that wasn't NVIDIA wasn't around. That actually there was like a 3D FX, which I think NVIDIA bought later on, and there was ATI. I think it was like atitech.ca, something like that. So I would like explain to people at tech support like which website you would go, and of course the time, how much it took time to the website to reload would be like jig 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 jig. You would see almost like how slow they are, how much time it would take to load the whole fucking screen. And then it would, okay, if you have this and that graphics card, you would go this and that place, you would click that, save that file, open that file. When it did ask you to install, you would install. People would send me games like this didn't work, then I would test the CDR and or CD-ROM. Okay, it works fine, blah blah blah. If there was some say steering wheel or joystick was sent for replacement, we would like replace, like, okay, under warrant kind of a thing. So I started as a tech support guy in 1997. Then I started slowly because people were requesting me. Somehow they knew I could write something for websites, like write descriptions for certain games. It would be easier for the sales team to sell instead of just like EAN codes. How to sell a game to from an import company to local retailers would help if you're like, hey, this is a driving game from 1 to 4 people, and there's like 20 tracks, 20 cars, whole fun of for the whole family, to, blah blah blah. So I would be start writing about these games, the kind of a basic description. So I kind of became part of the marketing and sales team while doing it at tech support. Later on, I moved to marketing and expanding like the sales sheets, exploring, expanding the whole idea, like writing those descriptions of the games. So what started as like line or two, this is a fun driving game for maximum 4 people, or this is a shooter game, Half Life. I remember getting the Half Life demos, Half Life Day One, a big box of those, which was supposed to be sent to the customers. And I would be playing Half Life during the summer when there was the whole fucking tech support was really like not much was happening because people were not playing video games during summer times. The Christmas times or pre-Christmas times were like fucking crazy. But during summer, say May, June, July, August, nothing was really happening. And I could sometimes play a game through at work, headphones on, playing a game. If a phone would ring, I would just pause the game. Hello, this is Jerry from tech support. How can I fucking help you? Okay, blah blah blah. Thank you, bye. Then I would go back to the game and finish the game. I remember going through games like Half Life, I think Doom 3, Quake 4, some of those games like 90s, early 2000s. So I was basically taking care of tech support, replacing faulty products, writing some marketing materials at some points for video games. So, of course, because I was an avid gamer before my work, it made me even more a hardcore gamer because I could get like new games, like remember the first Unreal, Fallout, all that stuff. I would get them straight from the oven when they were published. I remember when StarCraft was released. I think it was late 90s. Guess so. The staircases, boxes was filled with StarCraft games because it was really big. I also remember that one of my work trips to Helsinki was to join a local Diablo 2 launch party. We would have Diablo 2 wine bottles, like custom made, would say like Diablo wine, 66.6% or whatever in alcohol. You would have some LARPing fighters outside the retail store. You would see some Bloody Mary drinks and all that shit because of, Diablo 2 was already a big launch back in the days. And of course, Diablo 3, Diablo 4, things got bigger. But my point here is back in the 90s, gaming industry was changing quickly. It was nowhere near as big as nowadays, but it was changing, like new games, new publishers, gaming getting bigger, gaming getting more into mainstream and all. Those were fun days. I got to meet so many nice people in the gaming industry, a lot of geeks, much like me. But it was always very different. When I would go to, say, black metal shows or death metal shows, I would wear my metal shirts. I would be the long haired Jerry. I would be a metalhead to them and all that stuff. At work, I would be, having ponytail on, probably some less offensive shirts and shit. And I was talking about gaming and computers and stuff. But that it is my background indeed. So since 1997, I've been working in the gaming industry and I've been in various positions. I've been a tech support guy. I've been a marketing guy. I've been a sales guy. I've been a peer guy. So a lot of different roles throughout the years of past almost 30 years in the gaming industry. It's a really, really laid back industry. I gotta say, I love video games and I like how the industry is. It can be sometimes very, very capitalistic, of course. But there's a lot of passion, the same kind of passion you see in music, what you see in gaming people. They're like, wow, new game, new mods, new this and new that, new gadgets, new mice, new keyboard, new gaming consoles. People are really, really obsessed with the stuff. The same way people are obsessed with guitars and drums and keyboards or whatever. Some people go for gigs. Some people go for game launches. I think the passion is really the same. It's just a little bit different angle. But yeah, Netroid, I hope I answered all your questions about entry level job and how did I get started and all. Yeah, maybe I should start streaming some of those games. Do I instinctively swear in Finnish? Yeah, most likely I'm gonna say perkele, something like that. But of course, because I speak so much in English for Rauta, of course I instinctively will also swear in English. Anthony is asking, do I enjoy any hardcore bands? I'm not really into hardcore punk, but I've been enjoying and reviewing some hardcore punk bands. So yeah. General Rocks, am I really older than you? I thought you were older than me. I was born in August 1975, so there's that. Facilitator was asking if I went to the Steelfest invitation only show the morning before Steelfest. No, I didn't. Leif, I agree. If someone is offended by black metal, has a soft skin. That's very very true. Yeah, Rockfile, that's exactly the reason why Euronymous identified with communism back then, because communism was even less like the evil taboo, much like NSBM later on. So Euronymous was a kind of a pioneer of shocking people with politics in black metal. Zach is asking about, do I know about Moonsorrow's current plans of making new music? Unfortunately, I don't. Like I said, big labels or big label bands kind of keep it under the table. They keep it secret until they're ready to launch information. However, I don't have a favorite Moonsorrow album. I've never been a big fan of the band, even though I like the guys in the band. Kvelertak, I saw them live once when they were warming up for Metallica. Not really my cup of tea, but I mean, I kind of like and respect what they're doing, but it's not my cup of tea when it comes to the music. Talking about Half Life, by the way, I still have at least one Half Life shirt somewhere, which I use at the gym. Half Life offensive forces, whatever the first DLC was. Facilitator, I never played Quake 3 Arena online. I just wasn't interested in online gaming back in the days, nor Unreal Tournament for that matter. I mostly just played single player games. Yeah, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory was fun as an online game, though. All right, YouTube gonna give you some ads in something like 15 seconds. So let's have a short break, and I will get back to your final questions before I go because it's 1:30. Now, hopefully, you're back from the advertisement break. Hazaki is saying indie games are awesome. Personally, I don't give a fuck if a game is a mainstream one or indie game. I enjoy a good game nonetheless. It's much like metal, underground or mainstream. I don't give a fuck if I like the music. Like lately, when I was in Spain, I was playing in a Dave the Diver on my Nintendo Switch because I brought it with me and it was a great game. I still haven't finished it. I haven't been playing it for a month now, but I should go keep going. It's a really, really good game. Oh yeah, Nedred, I kind of got carried away with the details regarding my history in the gaming industry, but it's just fun times I like to talk about, and not. I think most people don't understand my past before Rauta and stuff. So obviously, talking about those old days is always fun because what people don't understand is that even Rauta started as late as 2017, barely 7 years ago. Of course, I have the decades and decades before that. Like when I joined my first band in 1994, that is almost 30 years by now. 30 years ago, that is. Back then, it felt like we were a little bit late to the party. 1994, we had our first death metal band, and I was like 19 at the time. So we had very, very little what to reflect upon. 1994, you would know all the bands in the world had been already created, Like 1994, bands like Cannibal Corpse or Death or Morbid Angel or Obituary, Bolt Thrower, whatever you had, they've been there years and years. Now, if you would say that we kept going in 1994, we would be one of those fucking old school names, right? My point here is that how you perceive time, how you see it, it's very, very, how to say, subjective, relative, because you might see like 5 years back in the days, it was a fucking eternity. Nowadays, you feel like, hey, this band just put out their recent albums 5 years ago. So things are very, very different. Nowadays, if you say a band put out was like when it was founded or put out their first album 2019, 5 years ago. Yeah, it's one of those newer bands, Nobody gives a damn. 5 years. It's already like been there forever, man. But back in the days, 5 years was really a fucking big gap. So when we started in with Nightside in 1996, once again I had this feeling like we're kind of late to the party because a lot of those bands were started in like 1991, 1993. They had been there for eternity, already so many years, so many albums, and all that stuff. And then again, if you would compare a band founded in 1996 to say Dark Throne, which were like since 1987, that's 9 years. That's fucking eternity, man. Especially when you're in your early 20s. But in hindsight, comparing bands like us, Nightside from 1996, to say some band that was founded in 1994 in Norway, that's barely 2 years, doesn't really make much of a difference. But like I said, back in the days, even 2 years, not to mention 3, 4, 5 years, that was a big difference. So that's how you kind of get the idea what new school and old school is all about. Think about this. Iron Maiden is considered as new school of British heavy metal. Mind you, Iron Maiden was founded in 1970s. This should give you a little bit of idea how relative time really is. How can something be a new school of British heavy metal nowadays when it was founded, say, almost 50 years ago? So, talking about how time flies. Rob Hellfire, gotta say, I have never crossed paths with Melanie Mac. No, I don't even recognize the name as such. Yes, Rotten. It was opposing force, indeed. I have that shirt. I'm gonna show it to you someday. It's in my gym shirt pile. it's for some reason it's still actually pretty good in print. Maybe the quality was just so good. I remember liking Opposing Force more than whatever blue blue one blue sheet blue whatever it was, the second DLC for Half-Life. But yeah, Opposing Force was a really good. Zach, I played Soldier of Fortune, but to be honest, I didn't get like the game too much. Thank you, Aske. Good night and take care. And good out now, Zach. Yeah. All right, guys. It's been 2 hours and 30 minutes. Way overdue. And during that time, I barely made with 2 beers. So since I'm pretty much done with that, and it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, I guess I'm out of here. So very last final questions. Yes, some nice recommendations there. Now, before you people keep recommending, I must say I have this channel on Discord where I mention my current projects where I'm listening to, and no matter how many bands you're gonna recommend, nothing can kind of how to say take over these projects. So I recently did the Cannibal Corpse retrospective, and Baptism one will be soon right there, and followed by Brujeria. Then I'm moving on to some of the early works in Finnish black metal, because I already did Archgoat retrospective in only a couple of months ago. I will be focusing after Brujeria one on Beherit and Imbel Nazarene, and those will be the starting point also for the Finnish black metal series from the 90s. So, like I said, there are multiple projects going through my personal record collection under C right now. That's why the clandestine blaze is right there. And then I will be doing this retrospective of the bands I've been interviewing, like mentioned earlier today. So, Baptism interviewed, and now their retrospective will be done, much like Cannibal Corpse, much like At the Gate, much like Archgoat, and Brujeria. I'm going for these bands that I got to interview in 2018, 2017, and then I will start doing the Finnish black metal series. So whatever you have in your mind, in sense that I should be listening to, I mostly will be very fucking busy in terms of checking out these bands for my Rauta project. So I hope you understand. And thank you, Leif. Thank you, Rob. Thank everybody who has been participating in questions. And the biggest thank you for people who helped with the donation, SK, Chunger Rocks. Um, Now we're going to scroll a bit. Alex N. and my Canadian supporter here. So thank you so much for donation, and one of the biggest thanks goes to Masis Brewery for sending these beers. Oh, by the way, as you can see, they have their sorry, this way. They have their social media pointers here. So Facebook and Instagram. Go check out what Masis Brewery is doing on social media. These 2 beers I had, really good ones, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more for coming streams. I will be saving these particles beers here for future streams, and hopefully some Martti videos later on. So I will be telling you about these beers, and I will be having good time with those beers. So thank you for that. And no, last questions. Um, Thank you, Rodden. Thanks for being on the channel, and I hope you liked or liked the Diocletian interview and all that stuff. Thank you so much. And sorry, Kevin Ortega, you're a little bit late. I'm just finishing up and going to bed. And the next stream, monthly stream, the August stream, is supposed to. I'll tell you the date I'm planning. Because early August I will be at Beyond the Gates. Then I will be at the Helsinki Metal Festival. So it will be probably August 17th. So what have you? 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks away, the next stream. But in 2 weeks, should you have certain questions I didn't answer, I am doing Ask Me Anything video in 2 weeks. I'm compiling some of the questions you have in your mind for the next AMA session. I already have some questions lined up for the video. So if you have some questions, just send me those questions in some of the videos, and I'll try to look up for your questions, and I will try to answer them accordingly for the AMA, because it's been so many years since the previous AMA video, and I try to do them in addition to these stream videos as well. And Dagasur, nice to have you on Discord as always. And Rob Hellfire, thank you so much. Leif and other guys, good night. And let's hope that the next time you will hear some more content than just these normal review videos and all. I will be coming for you from Bergen Beyond the Gates in a couple of weeks. So take care, people. Check out the interviews. Dead Heimskard interview out next Friday. And then there will be a couple of weeks without any kind of interviews. You will see some Marty adventure most likely. But coming early August, and I should have some interviews coming for you, as well as some short videos with Marty and all during Beyond the Gates and Helsinki Metal Festival. So probably first interview coming out after Dead Heimskard will take a few weeks, say mid-August, with the exception of Rauta's Patreon supporters who get to see the first interviews a little bit early. But yeah, Dead Heimskard next week, and then probably back in mid-August with more interviews. Review videos coming out as normal, as well as some of these opinion videos like the non-metal cover ones and other stuff. So keep your eyes and ears peeled, and like I said, if you have questions, send me under them on the normal videos, and I will get back to you with AMA videos. Good night, Anastasia and others. So off you go, enjoy your night, stay metal, and be good to one another. All right, good night.